In the history, Gauchos were legendary cowboys in South America during the colonization period. However, recently, inhabitants of the Brazilian state of Rio Grande do Sul have developed special interest in preserving the Gaucho tradition. They have adopted the Gaucho culture as their own and have created a formal structure called Gaucho Traditionalism Movement. This movement has the purpose to recreate and preserve Gaucho traditions. Analyzing this contemporary Gaucho culture context, in this video, we show market agents' efforts to preserve a localized culture using the market structures. With theoretical background, evolving studies of resistance, we developed an ethnographic research over a 3-year period in Gaucho culture. Our fieldwork involved interviews with 3 distinct groups of agents, participant observation following traditionalists in the field, photography, films, and artifact analysis. Acting in the Gaucho Imagine and Material Market space, there are 3 primary types of local agents. Firstly, there is the group of consumers. They are mostly urban residents who have little or no connection with rural life and try to keep in touch with Gaucho culture through consumption practices. Second, there are the group of marketers, formed by enterprises that exploit commercially the Gaucho culture. They are responsible to supply an economic value chain related to Gaucho culture manufacturing and retailing typical products or sponsoring activities. The last group is the organizers. They are public and non-profit organizations created with the objective of Gaucho culture promulgation. An extensive commercial activity takes place among members of these 3 groups. It makes the market a place of widespread propagation of Gaucho cultural narratives. It includes material production and commercialization of products recognized as typical. Consumption of these accessories supports factories and shops that supply and perform market for the Gaucho products. In a complementary way, several events related with Gaucho culture take form during the year. Agents organize and participate in these events as a form to cheer the Gaucho way of life. Market practices around Gaucho culture support the commodification imaginary that in turn sustain the Gaucho traditional sociocultural nucleus. For this, we identified 4 themes that serve as cultural reference in market activities. The first theme is called History, Tradition, and Memory Cultivation. It represents the values and habits that permeate people's consumption patterns. The second theme is the connectedness to the land. It reflects the Gaucho attachment with the local regions and the rural way of life. After, we identified a local singularity and patriotic loyalty. It creates a proud desire to keep Gaucho tradition over time, highlighted by the informants as resistance to the globalization and modernity. Finally, our last theme is called Marketization of the Commodified Imaginary. It represents market practices directed to the aims of cultural resistance. It is derived from agents' attribution of economic value to Gaucho symbols. Notably, the other 3 themes serve as the foundational elements for this valuation framework. We observe that it's precisely through market activities associated with Gaúcho symbols that people keep in touch with and reproduce the Gaúcho lifestyle. The market becomes a strategic place where consumers act with marketers and organizers to resignify, enact, and legitimate Gaúcho cultural elements. Gaúchos support an alternative and local market structure as a way to disseminate cultural resistance practices even without leaving the mainstream market.